I'm Michiel Hulsbergen.
Merlijn Linschooten.
Kamiel de Leur.
Niclas
van Ingen.
Tom Theuer.
And I'm the CEO of the Sevvy Company.
CEO of Focus.
One of the founders of DialogueTrainer.
I'm marketing manager for Axelera AI.
I'm the CEO of ARC.
And I'm one of the co-founders of Naya. Las Vegas experience so far it's always good. It's crazy, you know, the moment you get off the plane, you know, you see everything when you're on this trip. It's just, and when you're in CES, you know, it breeds innovation.
The Las Vegas experience is really overwhelming. Everything is big, but it's a lot of fun.
It's pretty crazy to be here, I have to admit. Everything's so big, but I'm glad a place like this exists. I think it's peak capitalism and it can be anything you want it to be. So it's a very fun experience so far.
CES is always wild. Yesterday someone said what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, except for if you're at CES, then your goal is what happens in Vegas comes back home with you. And I think this year we've already made some great business contacts and I look forward to following up on those when we're back home.
So far been fantastic. It's the first day, but it's already buzzing with energy. There's everyone from media to retail, distributors, investors, so very exciting.
Well, I'm loving this place. I think it's absurd. Las Vegas itself, I think CES is absurd. It's not our first time here. We're an award winner of last year as well. And I've gotten lost in this playground so often. That's part of the experience.
Well, in our case, that's not really an issue because all we do is software and software is very traceable. So we have pretty good overview of what our customers are doing, what they're not doing, where they're clicking, where they're not clicking. And then all of our supply chain is basically just data for which we build our own pipelines. So that's also pretty clear where that's coming from and where it's going.
Oh, absolutely. Very early we had this idea of, okay, we're going to onboard this ERP system that's going to link up with all of our services from our sales channels, Shopify, Amazon, to our back-end distribution channels, like there's some partners we work with, shipping partners, all the way to your finance and accounting system. But something that does all of that well, we haven't found yet. So we're integrating something that combines finances and inventory, but still not the front end. So it's still going to be a fractured system, which is rather a hassle to update between all the different departments.
So we have a relatively easy challenge on that, as we have a licensing business model. So we're working, our clients are typically original brand manufacturers, so we do not have an operations of manufacturing on our own. I do have experience on that in different companies which I worked before, and we're happy that we work with big multinationals, which, as you know, have big programs also on the supply chain transparency. Maybe some clients for you in the future.
Well, so first of all, with a product such as Naya Create, with the 4 different modules that we have, there's of course lots and lots of components that go into this, meaning the supply chain is really quite complex. Meaning the transparency for that, already having complex supply chain, the transparency on top of that makes that even more intricate. For us, of course, from the first step to the last part of the sourcing, it's very, very important for us that we have the best possible parts, but also make sure that we have the full transparency within the supply chain.
Well, actually, we're sort of specialized organization, of course. The data we acquire is data that's all integrated. So we have the playthrough of a player that leads to a score, and that score is in this system. That's not a challenge. Where it becomes challenging and the kind of integration you're talking about is when we want to relate these results to the business KPIs of our client organization. Now, one thing that we do there, for instance, is make sure that the things they're measuring are the same things we're measuring. But that's different from your solution, I know that. It's just, I do know it's a worldwide struggle right now. I actually know that the Dutch government is investing an incredible amount of money in data integration for their own departments. It's a challenge.
So what we can conclude is that supply chain is applicable to any industry. If you make software, if you give out licenses, or of course when you create products. But look at it from a software perspective. Although your software can be track and trace to the entire process from concept design to the actual production of the software, you always have to deal with the software needs to run somewhere. It needs to be deployed on a server. This server will always use power, cooling, network capacity, and overall resources. These are also part of the supply chain. And when you look at a product in its whole, yes, it's very difficult to identify every component and have that traceable through the supply chain. But with the COTIT 360 solution, we are able to identify every material as a sub-batch of the entire batch of a product, which is a product. So it doesn't matter if you have a software or a product, everything in the end can be made traceable. Also, as Tom said, it's very difficult to find a system that can cover all of these things. So that's why it's important to not focus on a system that can do everything, but a system that can integrate with everything. Because one system could be very good in finance, another system can be very good in ERP. But if you could combine those qualities into one environment by integrating and aggregating, then you have the solution as well. And that's what we do with COTIT 360, ensuring that you can have all the benefits of all the great systems out there in one environment.